I There's no getting around this. The World of Tanks players are going to string me up for today's video. But I swear, I'll make it up to you. Next week I'll do a half-hour long episode of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly or something. I will make it up to you, but today, yeah, it's this again. I swear to God, I meant to do a World of Tanks video today. I mean, it's been 2 World of Warships videos in a row, and I thought to myself, Jingles, the World of Tanks fans need a video. And then the World of Warships public test server went up, and it's pretty much all about the Royal Navy. So you can see I basically had no choice. It wasn't my fault. What do you mean it's all about the Royal Navy? Well, there's this new Royal Navy event thing going on. Actually, there's a lot more than just a new Royal Navy event going on the public test server. All this coming in a patch to World of Warships near you soon. I'm going to start with one of the things that both amused and impressed me the most about this upcoming patch, and we're going to demonstrate with the 15-point captain provided for me here on HMS Fiji. Have a look at those captain skills. You noticed anything weird? Yeah, do you see that? Apparently, it's not a great idea to put the direction centre for catapult aircraft on a ship that doesn't have catapult aircraft. This is kind of like the World of Warships equivalent of putting a label on a packet of peanuts that says, "Caution, may contain traces of nuts." Okay. These are warnings for the stupids. Yeah. Evasive manoeuvres? Not a particularly useful skill for a cruiser captain. Maybe we should warn people, because apparently enough people were actually picking these skills that World of Warships thought perhaps we should do something about that. And it's not just the really obvious ones either. I mean, I'm going to pick Adrenaline Rush here because Fiji, light cruiser, fantastic. But we'll go for Superintendent as well, extra consumables. But oh, hang on, what's this down at the Tier 4 skills? Well, I'm taking Concealment Expert. But have you noticed that they've got the same label on inertia fuse for high explosive shells? Why is that? Fiji's a British cruiser. It doesn't have high explosive shells. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this. I mean, it's a good thing, obviously. But, well, I'm kind of torn between being impressed that World of Warships has actually done this and utterly appalled that so many people are picking completely useless skills for their ships that they needed to do this. Speaking of, well, it's not just the completely useless skills. I mean, let's have a look. What else do we have? Oh, here we go. Manual fire control for secondary armament. It's not that the Fiji doesn't have any secondaries. It does. It's got 8 102mm guns. And if you're absolutely determined to waste 4 skill points on buffing a cruiser's secondaries, then the game will let you do it. But the warning is there. So remember, kids, now you've got no excuse. Peanuts may contain traces of nuts. Fire is apparently hot, and don't pick dogfighting expert for cruiser captains. So, Jingles, why are you messing around with the Fiji anyway? Well, you see there's a brand new game mode on the test server. It's called Arms Race, but it's for Tier 9 and 10 only. Now, when you log on to the public test server, you get a complete selection of Tier 5 and 6 ships. So you need to grind out those Tier 9s and 10s if you want to take a go at this Arms Race game mode, which is basically just random battle, but with a couple of extra twists and turns. Now, it doesn't take a huge amount of experience to actually grind your way to Tier 9 and 10. The Fiji here, for example, only costs 2,000 experience on the test server. The Edinburgh at Tier 8 is only 4,000. So I'm jumping into the Fiji to grind out a little bit of experience and have a look at this Royal Navy thing that they're doing as well. Nothing particularly special going on here. It's just a domination random battle. Enemy destroyer spotted in the cap. Shots out. Of course, this gives my position away. And, oh, that's not good. A Badioni. And I am being targeted, and it's probably one of those guys, but should be able to slip in behind this island. Yep, here comes the high explosive. No problem. We're going to give you the too long didn't read version of this particular game, because it is just a random battle. You don't need to be on the public test server to take part in something like this. So, slam the anchors on so as not to give broadside to the Badioni and the shores. Pop the smoke screen. Proceed to start shooting up helpless cruisers that have no idea where I'm firing from. That's a lot more than just a Badioni and a Shaw's. I think we may actually be outnumbered on this side, so we must be cautious. Time to really start abusing the shit out of these smokescreen mechanics. Smokescreen's out, time to start abusing the visibility mechanics and make that island my waifu. Smokescreen back up, rinse and repeat.
Smoke generator activated.
At this point in the game we were getting our arse handed to us. We're down 4 ships, the enemy are only down 2, but that Leander just pulled a tactical Notzer and ate a couple of citadels, which has just doubled my damage total, which is good because it was pretty bad so far. Unfortunately we appear to be running out of ships on this flank, and my smoke is about to expire, which means that Shaw's can now see me. Luckily, thanks to the fantastic acceleration properties of the Fiji, I am able to avoid every shot that the Shaw's fired. Oh look, Notzer's jumped into another ship! The Badioni ran itself aground as well. Luckily for me, that Dallas was suddenly a much more juicy target than I was, because pretty much everybody was shooting at him rather than me, but the Dallas is now gone, which probably means I'm next, because there isn't a huge amount of choice available for what the enemy team can shoot at. There's a low health battleship to the south hugging the map border, and that low health destroyer over there. However, my smokescreen's ready to go again. Hooray for premium consumables and the superintendent skill. Right, let's slow our asses down and pump out some smoke. They can still see me for the moment, and I did take a fair old amount of damage, and they've knocked out the torpedo tubes, but they're on the opposite side, so that's no problem. And we're undetected, which is probably quite bad news for the Leon down to the south, because now he's the only target they can actually see. Now this, kids, is why you don't sit stationary inside a smokescreen. Doesn't matter if they can't see you, they can see your muzzle flashes and your tracers. And you'll see they're aiming at where I was. So we're going to take that Helena out first. Luckily he doesn't have torpedoes, but if he gets any closer he may see me even though I'm firing from smoke. Yeah, he definitely needs to die. His shooting is far too accurate for my tastes. Kill number 1. Shots out to the Auber. And then, oh, hang on, the Shaw's. Yeah, low health target. He's next. And he's gone undetected. Oh, and it looks like we've lost that destroyer as well. That's not good. The Leon's still alive. Firing at where the Shaw's was, and scored a hit. Oh, yeah, that's it. Give me that broadside. Don't worry, your torpedoes don't have the range anyway. Gotcha. Right, kill number 2. 58,000 damage. There's more than just that Queen Elizabeth out there, though. I'm pretty sure there is also an Auber. And I don't want to just hang around here waiting for the smoke screen to expire and then suddenly be visible to a Queen Elizabeth and an Auber broadside on with nowhere to manoeuvre because there's an island right next to me. So we're just going to dump the torpedoes. Yeah, I got spotted. And it's time to do the hippie hippie shake and try to get myself undetected. Looks like the Queen Elizabeth was pre-aiming at the Leon. That's good. And now he's aiming at me. You can see me anyway. There's no harm in shooting. Oh, I took a hit. There's the Auber. Let's ditch some torpedoes. You never know. They probably won't hit, but hey, what's the worst that can happen? And just scrape around the side of this island. Dodge the fire from the Auber. Queen Elizabeth still aiming at me. Come on, accelerate. Get into cover, get into cover. Yep, dodged his fire, and we are undetected. This is my island. There are many like it, but that one is mine. Yep, the, I don't know if it's the Auber or the Queen Elizabeth, but they're trying to spot me. That was smart. They've launched a fighter. Got to keep moving. Auber torpedoes. Yeah, this is fine. My smoke's back up if I need it. At the moment, things are fairly even. We have a slight points advantage and the same number of ships on each team. Let's see what we can do about that. Well, the smoke is ready if I need it, and I'm going to need it. Okay. Just the Auber and the Queen Elizabeth down there, so slow my ass down, Smoke out. Yeah, was shooting at somebody else, although he's almost certainly switched his fire to me, or should be doing it very soon. No, he's not. Okay, that's good. We're concealed by smoke. Our torpedoes only have an 8-kilometer range, but what the hell. Yeah, he's going to be dead long before the torpedoes get there. There we go, kill number 3. That just leaves the Queen Elizabeth on this flank, who is suddenly outnumbered, but definitely not outgunned. And the Queen Elizabeth is still coming. Didn't take the opportunity to turn around and reverse course while it was concealed on the far side of the island. And she can't see me, not at this range, firing through smoke. Although my smoke screen isn't going to last for much longer. So I think I might need to go to the torpedoes. Yeah, this is probably my last gun salvo. Let's get the torpedoes out. Single fire torpedoes. Bit of a risk. You can't, well, you can launch a spread, but I do like the single fire torpedoes. I've been spotted. I'm bugging out. Queen Elizabeth is targeting me and is in fact shooting at me. So he's entirely aware that there's a torpedo-armed cruiser within 8 kilometers. Who thinks the Queen Elizabeth is going to change course or speed?
Fire!
Anybody? No, of course not.
We sank their battleship. Our team has taken the lead.
Kill number 4. There's only 2 targets left. One of them's in range, but, well, there's an island in the way. Doesn't have a huge amount of health left, and everybody's feasting on his tears. Oh noes, now there's only 1 enemy ship left, and he's not in range. Come on, make this thing go faster. God damn it, move your ass. Oh, now he's got undetected. God, somebody spot him. Don't you know I've got an audience to impress here? Where's he gone? Where does he think he's going to go? I mean, we're at 860 points. We've got 2 of the caps, and he's outnumbered 5 to 1. You can't escape to the next map, you know. I'm going to get you. There he is. Fire the frickin' lasers. Come on, swing those rear turrets around. I love the Fiji, but the turret rotation is kind of bad. We're just going to have to work with what we've got. Don't worry, there will be more Dakar soon. Oh, it's a Leon. Well, he's not shooting at me, because he can't see me, because islands. Although he's going to see me soon. Second to fire these guns, in fact. There we go. Oh no, I'm spotted. And I am broadsiding him, and he does have 16 guns. And I am probably... Yep, there it is. But oh look, another island. Oh yeah, that pissed you off, didn't it? Now you can't see me. He's probably waiting for me to pop out around the other side, so let's not disappoint him. Although let's not give him a big target to shoot at. We're going to go bows in. I mean, he can still overmatch our bow armor, but it makes us a smaller target. Let's see if he targets me. I am spotted again, of course. No, he's not. Hey, gotcha.
We sank their battleship.
We did indeed sink their battleship. Okay, so the point of me showing you this game was to show you the rewards. Oh, hang on a second. Oh yeah, that was kill number 5. That was a Kraken. Woohoo! Hell, I'm having a Kraken clip. I earned it. Right, yes, anyway. So, the rewards, just in case you were thinking, well, what the hell's the point of playing on the public test server? It's going to be on the live server soon. Well, you get rewards on the live server for playing on the public test server. And we will take a quick look at those, but we're also going to be taking a look at some of the new stuff. How did that battle go anyway? Oh, I wasn't top. Well, it does kind of hurt me to say this, and if you repeat it anywhere, I will deny it, but well done to the Frenchman. He's going to get a compliment for his troubles, not that it really matters on the test server. But anyway, back to the port, where you will find it has been colonised by a very, very nice flag up there in the top left corner of the screen. What's this Royal Navy business? Well, let's just take a quick look at the Honour to Heroes box and the 20 rewards that I accumulated for playing that battle. Some of these are rewards on your main account, but what are these guineas? These are a new currency that you can spend in the arsenal as part of the brand new Royal Navy event. This bears closer investigation. Oh my god, look at that. That's just magnificent. What's all this about? Well, it turns out that in just one game in HMS Fiji, I have managed to complete almost 100% of the first tier of tasks available in this Royal Navy event. Hence the ridiculous amount of rewards that were waiting for me after that battle. Here you can see the rules, how you can accumulate points at the various different tiers, in random battles, arms race, more on that later, co-op battles, scenario battles, and ranked battles. There's also a Player Hall of Fame where you can compare the standings for everybody taking part in this Royal Navy event, although it's not currently active on the test server. And there are 4 separate tiers and rewards, including, oh my god, look at that flag, isn't it magnificent? There's all manner of things to collect. Oh, what's that? Royal Navy containers. Hang on a minute. I think I got some of those. I did. I got 3 of them for completing tasks in that Fiji battle. Right, let's see what we've got. A Union Jack camo. Sovereigns, which like the guineas are a currency that you can use in the arsenal to buy Royal Navy items. And some signal flags. And yeah, there is some kind of bug going on with the textures and the objects in the foreground, although I'm not quite sure what's going on with Torpedo Polishing Guy. He seems to have skived off for a quick cigarette break. So, I don't know about you, but right now I'm itching to see what this brand new Union Jack camo scheme is going to look like on the good ship Fiji. Oh! Oh! I'm sorry, you're going to have to excuse me, I'm having a bit of a moment here. And it's not bad camo either. As well as your standard visibility and concealment bonuses, you get 125% bonus XP per battle, 50% bonus commander XP per battle, and 100% bonus free experience per battle. And since we are on the test server and researching new ships is cheap as chips, I'm just going to quickly elite the Fiji and then convert all of the experience on it into free experience, and that should be enough to unlock the Edinburgh, Neptune and Minotaur, and then we can take a look at this new arms race mode. So arms race is a brand new option for tier 9 and 10 ships only. You select it in exactly the same way that you choose random, ranked, co-op, operations, training rooms. Just hit the drop down box at the top of the screen next to the battle button. And this new game mode, at least at first, bears a superficial resemblance to good old random battles, except you may be wondering to yourself, hang on a second, taking a look at that minimap, I can't see any capture points. And you'd be absolutely right, there are no capture points, not yet anyway. In fact, there's only going to be 1 capture point, as we currently understand them, and that's not even going to appear until much later on in this battle. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be things that you can capture, however. As you can see from the minimap, there are 4 capture points that have just popped up, but they don't look like what we currently know as capture points. And there's a very good reason for that, because they're not. Have a look at the one in the centre of the screen there, with the cross icon over it. Any ship that occupies that capture point, and they don't stay capturable forever, so if you want to grab them you have to get in there quick. But any ship that does manage to grab that capture point is going to activate a healing buff, which will last for the rest of the battle for any friendly ship that's within 12 kilometers of that point when it's capped. And you will keep that buff for the rest of the game. It's called the Continuous Ship Repair buff. Now, initially, it's not particularly strong. With 1 level of Continuous Ship Repair buff applied to your ship, you're only going to heal 0.05% of your ship's maximum hit points every second. But it's always on. And there's more than 1 level to it. You can in fact stack that buff up to 6 times. And don't forget, the ship that actually grabs the buff for the team gets double the bonus instantly. So with a full 6 level stack of that buff, your ship is in fact healing 0.3% of its maximum health every second for the rest of the game. And I've been struggling to get within 12 kilometers of the Z52 over there, so I make sure I get the buff when he flips that cap, because I wasn't counting on a Khabarovsk sneaking into a cap circle, because, you know, it's a Khabarovsk, even though that was the closest one. So, as soon as that Z52 completes the cap, and it ain't going to take long, I will have a healing buff for the rest of this battle. And like I said, it ain't going to take long for the Z52 in the centre of the map to steal that cap, and bingo, there it is. You can always keep track of which buffs your ship currently enjoys, by just looking at the icon, and the level of the buffs that your ship currently enjoys just by looking at the icon above your reload indicators. There it is. And just in case you're not entirely sure what it means, you can always press H, and there's the summary, or just mouse over the icon. So I currently have a level 1 continuous repair buff. 0.05% of my ship's maximum hit points are being replenished every second for the rest of the battle. Or, until I get sunk. Or until I improve the buff. Because as I mentioned earlier, there are 6 different levels to this buff, and it's not the only buff available as well. There are 2 others that you can capture. There's a reload buff, which does exactly what it says on the tin. It makes all of your weapons fire faster. And there's a concealment buff, which, no surprise, lowers your ship's detection. And again, there are 6 different levels of all 3 of these buffs. Once you've got them, you keep them for the rest of the game. As you can see from the icon at the bottom of the screen, I've managed to get within 12 kilometers of a second healing buff when it got flipped. So now my ship, although I haven't actually taken any damage yet, don't worry, I will. But now, if I had any damage to repair, it would be healing 0.10% of my ship's maximum health per second, which is nice. And we're going to soon see that heal in action, because I'm about to make a serious tactical error of judgment right after we also managed to grab one of the reload buffs. There's an Iowa over there with his guns pointing in the wrong direction. Ooh, fine, I'm going to shoot at him. Turns out that was a bit of an error, because the Iowa is not alone, he just looks alone. There is in fact a Des Moines down there. And I'm broadsiding him. And it's a Des Moines. And this is really going to hurt. It's actually going to hurt much more than that. That was just his first salvo. Yep, there's his second salvo. Oh my god, where did all of my health go? So naturally, I'm using my heal. And I'm trying to make myself a smaller target. And since I am outside of his radar range, let's get that smoke screen going. Hooray for the Royal Navy heal. And hooray for the healing buff as well. Hopefully, I'm going to survive this. In fact, I am going to survive this. Managed to go undetected. And I don't know if you noticed, but right behind me, right there in fact, there's another reload buff cap point that just opened up. Ooh, must be careful and not sail into those torpedoes. And the Z-52 is about to grab that buff for the team as well. By default, my Minotaur's guns are firing every 2.8 seconds. I can get that down to 2 seconds with these buffs, as well as the adrenaline rush skill as well, obviously, having just lost, well, 90% of my health and then managed to heal it back up again to, well, I'm only lacking 50% of my health at the moment, but with the healing buffs going, it's a small heal, but provided I don't take any more hits, within a few minutes I should be able to recover a fair old amount of health. So how do you actually win an arms race battle? Well, you reach 1,000 points before the enemy team, or you sink all of their ships. So far, of course, the only way to actually gain any points has been by sinking enemy ships. However, at the 10-minute point, halfway through the battle, the one and only capture point appears, and I just so happen to already be in it. Right here, it's pretty much covering most of the centre of the map. So since I have absolutely no desire to receive yet another paddling from that Des Moines, I'm just going to sit here and we're going to cap this central point just so you can see the effect that it actually has on the course of the battle. Now remember, in a regular domination mode random battle, every time you take a cap, the cap will give you either 3 or 4 points for your team's total every 3 or 4 seconds. Obviously, the more caps you control, the more points you have coming in. Here in Arms Race, there's only the one cap. But flipping this cap gives you 10 points every second. Yeah, that's a lot of points coming in, and they're coming in very, very quickly indeed. I think it's fairly safe to say that if the enemy team flips the cap, such as it is in an arms race battle, you better do something about it, and fast. So that, in a nutshell, is pretty much the new arms race game mode coming in the next patch of World of Warships for tier 9 and 10 ships only. Initial impressions, I kind of like it, but I am a little concerned. Given how important it is for your team to get those buffs ahead of the enemy team, I'm a little worried that what it might turn into is a destroyer-only game mode, particularly the fast and very stealthy destroyers. I think it might have the effect of making the Shimakaze very popular again, particularly since the Shimakaze can actually fire all 15 of its torpedoes once every 1 minute and 15 seconds if it gets a 6 stack of that reload buff. But, well, I guess we'll see. This is just the first pass of the public test. There will undoubtedly be further tweaks coming, but I do like this game mode. I think it's got great potential. They just need to be careful to make sure that there remains a point to take in battleships, carriers and cruisers into the arms race game mode, and not just having everybody load up on the fastest and sneakiest destroyers that they have, because that would be a real shame and a bit of a missed opportunity. Actually, you know, while we're here and we're still accumulating even more guineas and sovereigns from these Royal Navy containers, let's take a look at the arsenal and see what you can actually spend them on. So, here we are in the arsenal. At the top of the screen you can see my currencies. I have 2 guineas, which were accumulated from completing stages in the Royal Navy event, and the guineas can be used to buy the premium Tier 8 HMS Cossack destroyer. I also have 30 sovereigns, which were accumulated from opening the Royal Navy crates. And I can use these for buying further Union Jack camos at a cost of 4 sovereigns each, or 40 sovereigns for a pack of 10, and they're exactly the same as the ones that you accrue from completing the various different Royal Navy event stages. There's also Burt Dunkirk for 100 sovereigns, a 10-point British captain, and if you happen to have any sovereigns spare after buying all of that lot, you can also spend them on yet more Royal Navy crates. Also, if you belong to a clan, and thank you to the USS Navy Force who tossed me a clan invitation on the test server so I could take a look at this, there are 2 new port facilities that you can construct as well to boost your coal and steel income, and these are a coal port, which looks like this. It has 3 upgrade levels, and when fully upgraded you will enjoy a 10% bonus to coal from all sources, and there is a steel port which does pretty much exactly the same thing except for steel. But that's not all. This patch also sees the return of Operation Dynamo, the Dunkirk evacuation, because, well, this patch is pretty much all about the Royal Navy. Dynamo is back, although there are changes. Very, very welcome changes. You may recall that in its first iteration, rather than using ships that you'd already unlocked, they just gave you a British or French destroyer, very low tier British or French destroyer, very bad low tier British and French destroyers that really weren't much good for anything other than playing Operation Dynamo. And so of course everybody took them into random battles and other operations as well, and because the ships were pretty shit, they were nothing but a burden to their teams, and they kept doing this until Wargaming stopped it. Well, this time around in Operation Dynamo, it's open to Tier 6 and 7 Allied destroyers, and once you've got it, HMS Cossack, the Tier 8 premium British destroyer as well. Now, on the one hand, it is kind of weird seeing American and Soviet destroyers rushing to evacuate the British Expeditionary Force and the French army from the shores of mainland France in 1940. But, yeah, you know what, I don't really care. The operation, of course, has been rebalanced for Tier 6-7, and if you've got it, the Cossack, Tier 8. Other than that, it more or less proceeds exactly the same way as the original Operation Dynamo. You start off rushing Dunkirk, get within the big circle up ahead, and your destroyer starts loading up soldiers. Make sure you smoke up in there, because the Luftwaffe will be overhead spotting you for shore-based artillery. And taking hits doesn't just damage your destroyer, it also kills the soldiers clinging to every available flat surface on your upper deck, and that is not good. Just as in the first iteration of Operation Dynamo, the big red areas on the map, those are minefields. It's not that you can't sail into them, but you'll probably regret it. Now the difference in this version of Operation Dynamo is that this time around the minefields can actually be safely navigated. You just have to be going very, very slowly. So providing your throttle isn't set any higher than 1/4, you can actually sail through the minefields. Of course, that's going to make you a sit and duck for the Luftwaffe, so you pays your money, you takes your chance. Here in my USS Farragut, I've just been beating off. Oh dear, that sounds bad. Beating off an attack by Schnellboots. and I've inadvertently strayed into the minefield. So I've slowed down, and of course, just got dive bombed by Stukers, so yeah, that's not good. The principal focus of Operation Dynamo, as when it was on the servers the first time around, is about defeating the Luftwaffe, so you would be well advised to take a destroyer that at least has a decent anti-aircraft rating, or if it doesn't, you're probably going to want to take whatever steps are necessary to buff the anti-aircraft rating that it does have. All kinds of upgrades and flags are available for that purpose. You're probably going to want to use them, but your best defense against these aircraft are to stick together. Right, stick together. Okay, Jingles, do I really need to point out the fact that you are as far away from the rest of the ships in your flotilla as it's possible to be, while still being on the same map? I never said I was any good at this. Sorry. I mean, seriously, are you new here or something? Come on. But anyway, yes, Operation Dynamo is back. It's a lot of fun. And I can see the Cossack being very, very popular in this game mode because it was a tribal class destroyer that lost a main gun mount to make space for more 40mm anti-aircraft guns. And while I'm sure you're going to be able to buy it in the premium shop at some point, you don't actually have to spend a penny on it, and you can have a premium tier 8 British destroyer simply by completing the various different tasks in the Royal Navy event, earning the guineas, and spending those on the Cossack instead. And that's pretty much it for the... Well, it isn't actually. There's a hell of a lot more. I just haven't had time to show you. There are new interface changes coming, particularly with regard to making it easier to tell whether or not your ship is flooding. The thunderstorm mechanic from Operation Hermes is making its way into random battles. They're continuing to attempt to fix the ship rendering issue that's been plaguing us in all game modes for some time now. In short, there's a whole bunch of new stuff waiting in patch 0.7.9, and you don't even have to take my word for it. Just create a public test server account, download the client, and give it a go for yourself. And if you do, you can earn yourself a whole bunch of rewards on the live server on your regular account, including but not limited to a day's premium time and a whole bunch of signal flags, including the special ones. So that's it, patch 0.7.9 on the public test server. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there's something here that you're going to be looking forward to. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.